Remember the 90s? It was a time when Tony Blair was in charge, the Spice Girls dominated the charts and our mobile phones had buttons on them. It was also a time where the Ford Mondeo seemed to rule the road, so much so that its drivers earned their own nickname, Mondeo Man. However, in recent years the Vauxhall Insignia has been dominating this part of the market, so is the Mondeo still worth buying? Well, I've been driving it to find out. It's quite a handsome looking thing, isn't it? I must say I really do like the styling of the new Mondeo. This is the ST line model, which means that you get the black honeycomb grille, you also get the sporty body kit, you get the big alloy wheels, and I have to say it looks really striking. The lines on the bonnet are really nice, helps to give the car a really nice muscular edge. And yep, I think the Mondeo is a very striking car indeed. So as mentioned, this is the ST line model. It's priced from £26,845. Standard features include the body kit, sports suspension, sports seats and sports pedals. You also get the full sync-free infotainment system with navigation, DAB digital radio, Bluetooth and smartphone connectivity. You get cruise control with speed limiter, dual zone climate control, LED daytime running lights with LED tail lights and automatic lights and wipers. However, this particular model has had a few options fitted, so it's got the rear privacy glass, it's got the power tailgate, it's got the LED adaptive headlights, and it's got a few other bits and bobs as well, including parking sensors and rear facing camera. So in total, this particular model I'm sat in is over £31,000. The front of the Mondeo is a comfortable place to be. You've got these sport seats with red stitching, which are rather nice and supportive, although if I'm going to be fussy, I would have liked some leather on them. Now in regards to finding a good driving position, that is very easy because the steering wheel has got a good level of adjustment and so do the seats. I've got plenty of headroom, so in all honesty I've got no complaints. But what's it like in the back? Step into the back of the Mondeo and you will find it's quite dark in here with this optional privacy glass. It does feel a little bit claustrophobic. In regards to headroom's not too bad, although I imagine that anyone over the height of 6'4" may struggle. In regards to legroom's not too bad. Now the driver's seat has been positioned for myself. As always, I'm quite a tall guy, 6'2", but the legroom is acceptable. I haven't got loads fit, but it's not bad either. Although it's worth noting that anyone who sits in the middle will suffer with less headroom and less legroom. So I don't think everyone's going to be able to get comfortable in the back of a Mondeo for long journeys. So because of the Mondeo size, it does mean that you get a fair size boot. So let me open up the power tailgate, which is an optional extra. It will cost you £400. So you're greeted by 550 litres worth of space, which is not class leading, but it is better than the Vauxhall Insignia. But if you do need more room, you can of course fold down the 60/40 seats to give you an increased capacity of 1,446 litres. But if you need even more room, then you can of course get the Estate, which offers a maximum of 1,630 litres of space. So ST line comes with a choice of two engines, both of which are a 2-litre diesel. You can either have one that produces 148 brake horsepower, or you can have one that I have, which produces 178 brake horsepower. It's mated to a 6-speed manual gearbox, which I really like, by the way. It's really nice and precise, the throws are short, it feels slick, it's a really good gearbox. But if you do fancy an automatic, you can have one of those. Plus, if desired, you can also have 4-wheel drive as well. But this model is 2-wheel drive. So at this point you may be thinking, hang on a minute, is this a return of a hot Mondeo? Not quite, I'm afraid, but it's not to say it's sluggish. So in regards to performance, the more powerful diesel unit will hit 62 miles per hour in 8.3 seconds, and it will hit a top speed of 140 miles per hour. So it's certainly not sluggish, and the engine makes progress pretty well. Put your foot down, and it's not out and out fast, but it's not slow either. And the handling's not too bad either. Yes, it's a big car, so you do get some body roll, but it's not to say it's truly awful either. Now, some reviewers have said that the steering is light and vague, and in my opinion, I disagree with that. I think it's quite well weighted. Yes, it could do with a bit more communication, but it's by no means awful. And I actually quite like steering. That coupled with the gearbox make for quite a dynamic drive, if you ask me. There is one slight problem with this diesel engine. It has got a fair bit of torque stiff. So let me come out of this junction, make sure nobody is coming. Right, in first gear. Okay, so at low revs, foot hard down. Oof, blimey. Yep. So you do need to make sure you are concentrating if you're revving this car hard. Now, as diesel engines go, this one's pretty good in all honesty. It's smooth, it's refined. Let me just shut up for a few moments. And you can barely hear it. And it's definitely a decent engine for cruising as well. On the motorway, it will cruise at under 2,000 revs and you can barely hear it. So it's definitely a smooth diesel. But even when you're revving it hard, let me pop it into second. It doesn't quite roar at you or drone. It's quite civilised in the way how it makes noise, which is good. It means that this is a comfortable place to be. Now, speaking of comfort, this does of course have, let me just drop it into fourth. Now, this does of course have the sport suspension. So the car has been dropped by 10mm and it's also riding on optional 19-inch wheels. Normally it's 18-inch. But the ride is still pretty good in all honesty, and I would definitely class it as comfortable. These seats are comfortable as well. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I would have liked there to be some leather, especially for the car's asking price, but I suppose you can't have it all. But the seats themselves are comfortable, they've got a good level of support, and I've driven this on quite a few motorway miles, and I've had no complaints in regards to comfort. So for argument's sake, I'm going to compare this to the Vauxhall Insignia SRI VX Line Nav, a car that I actually tested a few months ago, and it's quite a good car. Now, I must confess, I think this is a better car to drive. It does cost more money. It's about £1,000 more than the Insignia, and as much as the inside isn't a bad place to be, I do prefer the Insignia. The driving position in here is very good, but I do feel I'm sat relatively high, and I feel like I'm sat on the car rather than in it, whereas you don't have that problem in the Insignia. The inside it's an okay place to be. It's not offensive by any means. You've got soft touch materials on the dash. Everything is laid out quite nicely, but it doesn't quite feel as premium as the Insignia. And down here, out of sight, you've got hard scratching materials. So in regards to fuel economy, the more powerful diesel unit offers a combined figure of 62.8 miles per gallon, but if you want more economy, you can get the less powerful unit, which offers 67.3 miles per gallon. In my experience, I was able to get 52 miles per gallon, which isn't too bad. It's not too far off the official figures. This makes it more economical than the equivalent 2-litre diesel in the Vauxhall Insignia, and it also emits less CO2. You're looking at 117 grams per kilometre, which means for the first GM road tax you'll be paying £160, and then you'll be paying £140 each year thereafter. So the Ford Mondeo may not be as popular as it used to be, but I think I'd still rather have one over a Vauxhall Insignia. I think it drives better, I think it's a better looking car. Yes, the Insignia represents better value, but I think I'd be happy to pay a little bit more to get the Mondeo. Sadly, there are no plans for Ford to make a proper fast Mondeo, so for the time being we will have to make do with the ST line model, but it's still a good model nonetheless. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for many more car obsession videos to come.